Hello, TNA fam. How's it going for today? We are back again here at the impzonepod podcast to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans again. And well, they finally announced a match for TNA Turning Point. Only the one. I believe that this will be the main event. Which kind of sucks. It's kind of cool in some ways, but I said before that, like, this show with only like a few days to turn around, if you're gonna like draw people in, you've got to announce things that people go, holy crap, we have to see this shit. So the match is Santana and Macklin tag teaming up against Nick Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian. So no titles are on the line. So, like, the match, like, the outcome doesn't really matter all that much. And yeah, like, the stakes are just, oh no, momentum, I guess, or what have you. My question, I guess, would be, like, which way does this go? Because, like, you've got to have I think in some ways you've almost got to have the heels get the cheeky win. So that way you could start building a narrative of saying, okay, now, like, I think, like, next month, mainly on the poster, you had Nick Nemeth. So I would be assuming that he is winning this match. Just on that. Now, maybe I'll be wrong on that. I don't know. But what have you. Now, obviously, you could pull something like saying, okay, cool. This is the match, but you have Nemeth and Kazarian who have the call shot. So maybe they'll try to call their shot either before this match or even in the middle of this match or maybe even after this match. So that is the small amount of intrigue that could be within this match of saying, okay, are they going to call their shot or how are you going to get them to call their shot or, what's going to go on there, etc. That's like the only like that was always like something that you could have said, oh, this is looming, so what could happen type thing. Even if we have a match, you don't know whether one of these guys are going to try to call their shot. But yeah, still, I don't feel like there's much here. My biggest question, I guess, then becomes like who's taking the pin. Like Santana and Macklin have both just won their belts, so I feel like you should try to protect them. But like, I did say like both scenes kind of need like somebody, like more people within them to start with. So, but the main event scene is always the most important. So, and if Santana takes the loss, then you're putting more of the story onus onto him in that regard. So, but yeah, if you put it on Macklin, then it's like you've beaten the other guy. So wait a minute, like now you're gonna divert your attention to that guy, or you're gonna say, oh no, we did beat the champion, but you didn't beat the champion type thing, But that is a heel thing that you could do as well, so. But ultimately, I don't really think it matters all that much. Maybe you could even just say they somehow like win via DQ or something like that. I don't know, but it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. So, because, like, yeah, again, nothing's really on the line. There's no titles on the line. As I said, you could have them try to cash in. So that could be interesting, but I think with the both of them having the courier shot, it's sort of like one of them has to do it and then the other one has to do it. Because if both of them try to do it, they'll both sort of screw each other up from winning. And you could almost see like Kazarian like coming out in the Nemeth Santana match, or Nemeth coming out in the Santana Kazarian match, and they'll be both trying to be like, no, it's my shot now, and screw each other over or what have you. So that is slightly interesting though, but then again, I don't know. Would you really try to do that? I don't know. So yeah, but I think like the star power in this match, obviously really good. I would have just preferred to have seen Santana and somebody in a match, just for the title, and then Macklin in another match with somebody for the title. I mean, you're probably building to that sort of thing, but again, these sorts of matches where it's like, yeah, we're building to something, this is a TV match. This isn't a pay-per-view or even a minor pay-per-view match. And this is something that's like the problem. It's like, oh, okay, we took that month off where we were, whatever, doing stuff. So, yeah, like now you're having to throw things together at the last minute and expect people to give a shit, and then you're like, oh, we're also going to have a match where basically it's only about momentum and only about the future and not about tonight. So there's no huge investment for people to be like, oh my god, Kazarian could win there is that investment a little bit for, like, as I said, somebody could cash in, Kazarian could try to win the title, Nemeth could try to win the title. But you could say that at any point, you could have said that at Open Fight Night. Like, and you could have had the title on the line at Open Fight Night instead of it just being a random match. We knew Cedric wasn't winning anyway, so why not have put the title on the line? Then has a little bit more stakes to it, has a little bit more story to it. Then you could even just tease like Nemeth or Kazarian again trying to cash in, and at least then you would have a little bit more build up and story of saying, and then say, okay, Macklin comes out and helps Santana fend them off. Then you've got like the blueprint for this match. 2 + 2 is 4, guys. Like, you don't just say, well, this is what we're going to do. You need to build up to these things of saying, this is what we're going to do. Even if you're saying, well, this isn't that big of a match, and it probably should just be on an episode of TV. This is what we've got for now. So, okay, cool, great. And I'm assuming there's going to be more matches added soon to that, or matches like just put together this week, as I said. But I think they realized, hey, we need a main event at least or something for people to be like, oh, okay. I mean, the match will be fine. We always know the matches will be really good to find. But, so what? You can have really good, great matches, but without anything behind those, really. And with just maybe the potential of somebody cashing in this quarter shot. It's like, oh well, who cares? Are they going to win? Probably not. So, because you haven't spent time again investing in a story where it's like, they're going to cash in, and they're on a hot streak or whatever it is, or whatever, and okay, feels like they're gonna get there this time. So those are the things you need to do when you're like growing somebody or grooming somebody. It's like, you're not really grooming these guys. They're already kind of semi-main eventers or main eventers in some way. But, like, yeah, you haven't done that thing that makes people go, oh shit, we need to pay attention, and in a way, why would they? Like, Nemeth and Kazarian, like, are the old guard now. Like I said this like 1,000 freaking times, but they are. Like, yes, you could say, like, well, who else would we give it to? Give it to a star that you actually want to say, okay, or stars or whatever, I don't know. But or you need to be saying, okay, cool, we actually need to build somebody younger or somebody newer up along the same time. Like, these older guys, they're established now, and that's why they're coming in now, sort of thing. Because we're trying to set Santana up on a good foot early, and saying he beat, these big time guys that were, that have been here for a long time and are like true semi-main eventer guys. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give him big wins early while we build up other people, other younger people along the way. It's absolutely fine to build people underneath, but it feels like, I wouldn't be able to point to anyone, and it doesn't matter if it's babyface or heel, but obviously right now you need to build more heels for Santana to face. And right now, I couldn't tell you anyone that feels like they're, like, maybe Ali, but that's about it. Like, so you could start rehabilitating him a little bit more, and giving him more of a, like I said before, more of a focus to come back and face Santana. Like, I don't know that this is like the end where you're like, because again, same thing with like Ali, he's older, and like, not that any of these guys can't work or whatever, but like, you need to be sitting there and saying, okay, right, who's our next rising star? Because we can't just keep going back to Ali, or going back to Nemeth, or going back to Kazarian, or going back to EY, or guys like that. They're here to help us. They have to be here to help establish the young talent. But yeah, you need that young talent. Like, same thing for heels. You need to find your guys that are there, like maybe Eddie, maybe Moose, or whatever, that are there more so to help put over the heels, and say, okay, or whatever, whoever it is that you've got as babyface top guys or semi-top guys. Because, like, even if you're saying, like, Leon is, like, far and away, like, more down the road or whatever as a top star, which, that's fine, but he's still, like, one of those guys that you should start saying, okay, how can we get him there? When should we put him in that position? Because I think the audience would accept it, honestly. So It's just saying when is the right story, what is the right like angle, how do we come at this the right way? And then it's like, okay, if he's our superstar or whoever, but he's like the one of the true young guys that's like sticks out quite a bit, and they're putting quite a bit of stuff behind him, and he's even being in NXT, which hopefully like he's not like eventually WWE's not going to scoop him up or whatever. But that's we've said this before where it's like you need to keep your talent, like, and but the thing is WWE can't scoop everyone up. That's the thing, and like their rosters are pretty bloated. Like they've been releasing a lot of people in the last few years or what have you, as well. So yeah, like you can still have that, like, let's find some young indie guys or gals, what have you, that would be good on our roster, or let's find some ex-WWE people that, you know, were really only in NXT or whatever, that really didn't get a great shot at it or what have you. I mean, you've obviously got Elijah there as well, so he's a good guy that you can kind of, you know, help establish talent from, especially heel talent. But, or at least right now, heel talent, you could turn him heel as well, I guess. But again, he's old hat, so it's like, at a certain point, he's only really there to put other people over. He's not really there to, he's there to be a draw in of himself, but he's not really here to be the guy, per se. You know, I think, like, you could have him be the guy, but I think at a certain point that ship has sailed. Same with a lot of people. It's like, you could have almost said, let's not put the belt on Nemeth, or let's not do this, or whatever. Let's do that instead, or let's, you know, figure this out later, or, you know, what have you. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough because you've got that situation where it's like, you know, who is going to be there? I mean, I haven't talked much about Macklin in this situation, but I think he could feel like he gets back in that position at some point of being the champion. And, like, he's been heel before. You could turn him heel again. Or you could keep him face, obviously. It'd be really amazing. This is something that I want to come back to, but I'm going to pause on that thought. So I'm only looking at, like, male wrestlers. Okay, I've got two names. Let me keep scrolling through because I want to kind of go through them together. Let me see, because, like, okay, these ones are kind of interesting. Judas Icarus, Travis Williams. Now, we know Judas, he pinned EY a little while back. I think he's a very long-term future prospect. So I'd like to see more down the road. You've also got Jason Hotch, but he's also like a very far down the road kind of guy. Got Casey Navarro. Have to wait for him to recover from that surgery and that injury and whatnot, but he's another guy that I could see, like, down in the future to come along and be one of those guys. All right, I've got another name but I want to talk about him together with the other two. That's an interesting one. Let's keep going. Oh, actually, this one's interesting. Special Agent Zero. Okay, so we don't know much about Special Agent Zero, and he hasn't had very many matches or hasn't really done a whole lot yet. So it'd be interesting to see if he's going to break out from that faction, which he probably will have to at some point. where you're going to fit him, because he could fit in that main event scene if you push him right, and if he's got the right talent to kind of carry that. He's kind of like dollar store Big Bill or something like that. If you think like that, if you think, okay, let's try to make this guy into a big deal. So you can obviously do that. You've obviously got Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz and that, and you've also got Myron Reed. So those are young guys that I still think you've got potential in. None of them have really, like Ace Austin, none of them have really been, except for maybe like Trey, like seemingly that, like each of them except for Myron has won a singles title, but like Trey's been the only one who seemed like they could feel like, going up to the next level at any time thus far. So there is that in regard to them. I'm not really. I could go and look at the knockouts, but I'm not going to do it right now. But what have you? You still got like Ryan Nemeth there, and you've still got Rich Swann there. Like, Richie could still be in that upper scene, but also you need more tag team guys, so it's tough. I feel like in that regard. I feel like Matt Cardona's old hat and only really used to put people over. So Mance Warner is one person that I'm kind of thinking of. John Skyler, I feel like, again, sort of in an awkward position. But I just wanted to mention him really quickly, but he wasn't one of the names that I really was thinking too hard about. But Jake something also, and I kind of think this is a real long shot, but Chris Bay potentially returning. You've also got a few other guys here, but I don't really feel like they would necessarily be the next top guy like AJ Francis. Like, he's an amazing talker, an amazing character. We have seen him do some amazing things, but I think, again, you kind of want to put him in the right position to make that work. So, more or less, he needs a faction rather than just one guy on the outside to really, like, help him get there. And it feels like we don't know what we're doing with Jake something. Almost like, we should have, have him win once in a blue moon, but what have you. So I just want to quickly go through again and just see if I've maybe like missed something. Like Santino, I feel like Santino is almost retired as well. So, and he rarely wrestles. Like the hometown man or Cody Deaner, I feel like he's old news, even though he's got a new gimmick. But the gimmick is a comedy gimmick as well, so it's like, it doesn't, like, you can obviously lend it into more of a serious tone, but are you going to make that your top guy? And it does depend on, like, if they add more people to the roster. But it's not just adding more people to the roster, it's adding people that are gonna get there, more or less, or are, gonna help, like, somebody like Mace or Jake something or whoever get to that next level where it's like, okay, or even just let's focus on AJ, or let's focus on this person or that person, so that you've got something there. So I've said these things like millions of times, but it's important to kind of go through them, even if you're saying, oh, they're going to be an upper card guy for now or whatever, just because we need somebody in that position and whatnot. So but yeah, so I'm interested in some regards to see what comes next, as I say, but this match and everything that's been floating around it, it's fine. I feel like it's, like I said, it's just a build for final resolution, and maybe again a push for Genesis. So, and I feel like Genesis is like, hopefully we're getting more information on some of this other stuff, because they said that they would, but when, where, how, like, we'll have to wait and see on this live episode, I suppose. But anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this one, and I hope you join me again in another one.